E for energy, and welcome to the Energy Show, where we'll take you deep into the heart of power sector. From the boardrooms of policymakers to the voices of the people living in the dark, we bring you the truth behind the switch. I am Tiana, and today we will take a closer look at the topic, comparing Nigeria's power sector with South Africa and Ghana. Now, the state of electricity in three major African countries, Nigeria, South Africa, and Ghana. Why each of these countries has its unique strengths and challenges, one thing unites them all: the struggle to provide stable, affordable, and sustainable electricity to their people. Nigeria, known as the Africa's giant with a power problem. Now, let's begin with Nigeria, of course. The most populous country in Africa with over 200 million people. Despite being richly endowed with natural gas, coal, hydro, and solar resources, Nigeria generates an average of just 4,000 to 5,000 megawatts of electricity. And this electricity produced daily is barely enough to power a mid-sized city in a developed country. Now in the year 2023 alone, it collapsed several times, and many Nigerians have accepted generators as part of their daily lives, right? I can relate. In fact, Nigeria is one of the largest importers of small gasoline generators in the world. Why the struggle? Multiple factors. We have poor infrastructure, aging power plants and transmission lines, gas supply issues, even thermal plants suffer due to gas pipeline vandalism. We have policy inconsistencies. Several reforms have come and gone with limited long-term impact. How about privatization issues? The power sector was privatized in 2013. Outside many distribution companies, they still struggle with debt and inefficiency. Now let's observe the second country, South Africa, with its high capacity but yet unstable supply. Now let's head over to that country. Unlike Nigeria, South Africa has significant installed capacity, over 4,000 megawatts. That's nearly 10 times Nigeria capacity. Yet, South Africans are no strangers to blackout. Their experience was known as loud shedding, a polite term for scheduled power cuts. Now, why the disconnect between capacity and delivery? Now, the state-owned power utility controls generation, transmission, and most distribution. But years of mismanagement, political interference, and corruption have really weakened it. Aging infrastructure. Many power plants have decades old and frequently break down. How about coal dependency? Over 80% of power crimes from coal as environmental regulation sightings. South Africa faces pressure to diversity. Still, South Africa is working toward renewable energy integration and has begun allowing more independent power producers. Now let's talk about Ghana. It's a small but strategic reformer. Well, it's a country of about 34 million people. Wow. Ghana's power sector has seen significant reforms over the last decade, and in the early 20s, Ghana's coined with the term domso, which means off and on, and this describes the tariff's power supply. However, Ghana took bold steps. Not just a bold step, bold steps. Investment in diverse energy sources like the hydro, thermal, solar, and now some wind. Also, private sector involvement through independent power producer, the PPS. Now, regulatory strengthening with the Energy Commission and improving oversight. Now, today, Ghana generates about 4,000 to 5,000 megawatts, similar to Nigeria's output, but for a much smaller population. Access to electricity has reached over 85%, and while challenges remain, especially in rural electrification and costs within the sector, Ghana is often seen as a model for the city in Nigeria, which is Africa. Now, let's observe a comparative analysis, summarizing it with a side-by-side comparison of Nigeria, South Africa, and Ghana. Now, Nigeria has a population of about 200 million, South Africa 60 million, and Ghana 34 million. Installed capacity of Nigeria is 13 megawatts, South Africa 58 megawatts, and Ghana is 5,000 megawatts. How about its effective daily output? Nigeria has 4,000 to 5,000, South Africa 25,000 to 30,000, and Ghana is 4,000 megawatts. Nigeria's energy source is gas, hydro, and diesel. South Africa is coal, renewable, while Ghana is hydro, thermal, or solar. The main issue of Nigeria is grid failure and underinvestment. For South Africa, load shedding and corruption. And for Ghana, we have tariff debt and even rural areas. Nigeria's notable strength is gas potential and solar abundance. For South Africa, we have its capacity and industrial base, and for Ghana, we have reform access and private participation. However, the journey toward energy security is far from over for any of these countries because Nigeria must fix its broken systems and attract sustainable investment. South Africa must reform ESCOM and fast-track its energy transition, while Ghana must continue its reforms and expand rural access. But the good news, Africa has the resources: sun, gas, water, and wind. What we need now is governance, innovation, and the political will to light up the continent. And that will be all for today on the Energy Show. If you enjoyed the episode, subscribe, share, and follow us across all our social media platforms at the TLIG Africa. Do you have questions about clean energy in Africa? Reach out and we'd love to hear from you. And also, if you have a product or services relating to energy you'd love to promote, do reach out to us and we'd love to partner with you. And I'll see you on my next one, guys. Bye for now.